Back here on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, joined by Miami Dolphins running back Chase Edmonds, 2018 Fordham graduate, fresh off a 2-year free agent deal. Chase, appreciate you taking some time with us. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I appreciate you guys bringing me on here.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate you taking some time. I want to start there as a new Miami Dolphins running back. Can you take us through the free agent process for you from the time that free agency opens? Looks like you're moving on from Arizona and then putting pen to paper in Miami.
Yeah, so for me, man, just really when before I made my decision to go to Miami, went through all the teams, all the options that I felt like, I would fit in well with, or, where I wanted to play. Kind of just had my priority list of, things that I had of the utmost importance to me, and then down to like, whatever, just labeled it 1 through 5. And went through the entire teams in the NFL and kind of just figured out each one got a score. Miami graded out pretty high just because I was going off of salary, scheme, playing time, city life, and then obviously just the chance to win. Just not winning anything in the NFL my first 4 years. I did want to win, but I also, like you said, it's a business, and the numbers got to be right. So I was going through that, and really it was like top 4. I probably, in no order, it was Miami, Buffalo, Tampa, and then back home Arizona still. And, things just kind of worked out with James. They wanted to go with James, and rightfully so. But Buffalo, I think I was gravitating a little bit towards Buffalo a little bit at first, just because it was something about the Bills Mafia that kind of interested me, the fan base up there and everything like that. The numbers didn't really work out over there. And then Tampa, it just didn't really work out because they were trying to bring back Leonard Fournette. So I really liked Miami, though, because what I liked about them was McDaniels, his offense. I feel like he's a guru. Guys that I talked to around the league said that they love playing for him. He's smart. He has a really good scheme. And playing them twice a year and being able to see kind of how he utilizes his players and how he just puts people in the best situation for their abilities, that's something that really, I could get with.
Appreciate you taking the time with us again, Chase. When you look back at your time with the Cardinals, obviously, you go in there, a little later round pick. You have to fight for your spot in a committee, back and forth, make the playoffs your last year. Just wondering, as you look back at your time with the Cardinals, your overall experience with that organization.
Oh, man, yeah, I absolutely loved it. Made some of the best friends that I ever, that I always have in my life. And just kind of the one thing that stood out to me about Arizona was our camaraderie. Just it was not typical for your NFL locker room, just because it felt like I was still in college, bro. It didn't matter whose house it was, but we were always with each other outside of the facility, always just, enjoying life, being with each other, whether it's grinding on football, watching movies, kicking it, going to dinners, whatever it was. It was just like the boys being boys. And that's something that, that's really how you make those memories, because at the end of the day, the NFL, man, it's a business. So you do have some situations and some locker rooms where, it's kind of just like literally a job, bro. You go in, drop your bag off, go to work, go home, don't really talk to many people, be with your wife and kids, and come back and do it all over again. But I really took I didn't take lightly just the experience that I had in Arizona with the teammates that I've had.
I know Dolphins fans and fantasy football owners are going to be very interested in this question. How do you feel like you fit with Mike McDaniel and the Miami offense?
Yeah, obviously it's still very early, but just off of what I saw, on how he ran his offense, I think it's something that I can benefit off of, just because I figure, I consider myself versatile, and I think McDaniels really knows what to do with versatile people. I think he really just knows how to put people in the best position for themselves and in advantageous position matchups with linebackers or whoever it is that I may be matched up on.
I'm always curious to hear this with a guy who's in locker rooms, has that experience with the NFL landscape. This has been a crazy offseason, quarterbacks switching all over the place left and right. Just wondering your thoughts on kind of how the league has changed over the last few years with all this mobility at the quarterback position.
Yeah, it's kind of like the new package for a quarterback now. It's like, they got to be able to do both. The days of the pocket passer, the true pocket passer, kind of slowly dwindling down. I think Tom Brady has really held that end of the bargain. But, I think it's just, you see how kind of college offense schematics have kind of just integrated into the NFL slowly. But now next thing you got guys running RPOs all the time, and that's really what someone's base standard offense is as you see it. But I think it's just cool to see the development and how the league just changes as time goes on. Like, you look at running backs, your typical running back in 2005, you're looking at someone like Eddie George, Jamal Lewis, big time backs, big bodies able to hand the ball off, Sean Alexander, able to take the ball 35 times a game. And now you see, one, they already devalue running backs, but two, you know, that if you can't catch the ball out the backfield, it's like you might not even see the field.
Ryan touched on this a little bit. You make the move from the NFC to the AFC, and as I'm sure you've noticed, the quarterbacks are really good. You're in a division with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, all in the AFC. A lot of talk about your new quarterback, Tua, last year. Some saying that he's not necessarily good enough to compete with those top-tier guys. What have your early interactions been like with him, if any, and maybe what are they missing, and why should we be talking about Tua as one of those top-tier guys in the AFC?
Yeah, I mean, I like what Tua does with the ball. I just think that he does a really good job of really understanding the scheme. You can tell when you look at his film, you know, he's on and off his reads. He's very quick with the ball out of his hand. And I think that's something that can really benefit myself in terms of kind of my play style and how I play. You know, I just love that he's a timing system quarterback, and I think that McDaniel will be able to get the best out of him because he is a timing system quarterback. You know, it's very methodical in how the plays are called and how the plays are ran, and the specific reads. It's a very kind of rule-oriented offense, and I think that's something that he can do well with.
Now, I wanted to shift a little to, obviously, you know, Fordham alum, right? That's why you're with us here. Ask you about your time at Fordham, some of the favorite memories you had, why you ended up choosing Fordham, you know, coming out of high school.
Yeah, so really, I'll start from the beginning, just of why I chose Fordham. And for me, I kind of dwindled down to, you know, I was getting a full scholarship offer to go to school. It was down in Villanova and Fordham. I felt like the academics, I couldn't go wrong with either. So I just made my decision off of, you know, what I felt like was the best opportunity to me to at least get on the football field early and play ball. And that was at Fordham just because the running back that had started there, I think his name, Carlton Kuntz, he was a senior. He had just graduated. So it was an open spot. I felt like, you know, I could at least have the opportunity to win the job. And that's kind of why I chose, you know, Joe Moorhead was there, Joe Mo. That's when he was in his prime at Fordham. So being able to go out there and link up with him and kind of just have faith that, you know, his offense, his scheme kind of fit my style and what I felt like I could do best. I felt like it was a match made in heaven. And then favorite memory at Fordham, probably my sophomore year, man, when we beat Army. And I felt like that was big because my freshman year, you know, we had all those starters back with Niebrick, Wetzel, Sam, Dan, and to my sophomore year, we had lost like 19 starters, bro, going into my sophomore year. And we opened up against Army, and obviously everyone thought we were going to get whooped. And to go up there and just be able to win that football game, that was a cool memory that I have with my boys.
Talking with Miami Dolphins running back Chase Edmonds here on one-on-one. You mentioned Joe Moorhead. He's taken over at Akron starting this season. Curious what you take away from your time at Fordham with him. Are there things that you still think about even to this day? And what is Akron getting in Joe Moorhead?
Yeah, like I have so many quotes from Joe Mo. It's crazy that I still use in my life. But one that really sticks out to me is that I forget where the quote is from, but he would always tell us that in life you have two pains of discipline. You can either suffer the pain of regret or the pain of discipline. I think that's what it was. And for me, it's just so telling about how life is, because like if you have something in life that, you know, you want to accomplish or you want to do, you want to work hard to get, you're either going to suffer two pains from it. You know, you're either going to have that pain of discipline to where, okay, I'm disciplined enough to make sure that I accomplish my daily goals every single day, striving to get to this one goal. And then if you reach that goal, you know, the pain that you suffered was just the discipline that you had to require and do to get to where you wanted to be. But then it's like the pain of regret also, where like, you know, you go through that journey, you're skipping days, you're kind of, you know, you're half-assing it a little bit. You're not really doing what you need to do to really accomplish that goal. Then it's like you suffered the pain of regret, bro, because now it's like, dang, I regret that, you know, I didn't make those choices. I regret that I didn't do that extra work. I didn't study that extra hour for the test. And that's something that I just take with me in my life as it is, whether it's on the football field, off the football field, you know, being a dad, being a son, whatever it is in life.
I know in the past, I believe you've talked about not getting any FBS offers. I wonder when you look back, you know, how much you think it benefited you, right, going to Fordham as a freshman, being the number one guy right away, as opposed to maybe going to a bigger time school, but having to split time, work your way kind of into an offense.
I think what I benefited most from Fordham was just how it molded me as my personality as a player. I felt like I was always underlooked and, kind of the underdog. And it really just installed in me, bro, just a work ethic like no other that I had, coming up out of Fordham, and really the work ethic that I needed to make it to where I am now. And so that's something that I take with me from my time at Fordham. I really, it's funny you say that just because I remember I was so like obsessed with getting an FBS offer. Like all I wanted was an FBS offer. I didn't care if it was from Central Michigan. I didn't care if it was from, North Texas, like any FBS school you can think of, some random school. If it was from there, I was going to take it just because I was so obsessed with playing FBS. But like my biggest blessing was not getting that offer because like you said, everything worked out for me at Fordham. I ended up going there, winning the job, and just that work ethic that I had, it's still with me my whole 4 years there.
So, Chase, you spent a bunch of time at Fordham, moving on, of course, to the NFL. The Rams have a standout left tackle who is making his way through the draft process right now. Nick Zakelj at the Combine, at the Senior Bowl. Have you talked to him at all, and what advice would you give a player coming out of Fordham entering the process of going into the NFL?
Yeah, I did talk to Nick Zakelj, man. That's my guy. I remember he was he was a freshman my senior year, I believe, and I kind of just told him, man, enjoy the process, bro. Don't get too caught up in it. I remember when I was coming out and just, being in the combine and getting too caught up in like, how am I going to do? How is it going to affect my stock? How is it going to affect which team likes me? You can play, bro. I told him you can play. You got the talent, man. Just go out there and enjoy it, because you're going to look back on it regardless of what happens. And you're going to look back and it's going to be a proud moment for you that you got to experience those things. And it's not going to dictate how your career goes. You know what I'm saying? Like the biggest part is getting there and then the work that you do once you get there. So I just told him that, man, just enjoy the process. And it was cool catching up with him just to be able to see his growth from his, his first day at Fordham to now being ready to get drafted soon.
And I think, for a school like Fordham to have guys like you, have guys like Nick that you can see go through the process and end up making the NFL, eventually can be huge for a school like Fordham. I'm wondering what you would say to someone who maybe is a senior in high school. They're considering Fordham. They have NFL aspirations on why going to Fordham is the right decision if that is what they want to do in the end.
Yeah, my goal would just be, my advice would be, don't worry about what anybody else thinks. I think that's just a problem that we as people have in the world too much today. Everyone is worried about someone else's opinion. Everyone is worried about what someone thinks of them if they do this, that, if they say this. I think you got to just go with your heart because at the end of the day, I went with my heart and my gut, and it was Fordham. Whether that was going to be the right decision or the wrong decision, I felt like, I owe it to myself to make the decision for myself. And that's something that I would just tell a senior high school kid is, whatever school you're deciding on, if it's the best decision for you, you the individual that you feel like it's going to put you in the best spot to succeed and whatever goal you want to do, then you do that. You owe yourself that. And I feel like in life, that's what you owe yourself every single day.
Talking with Miami Dolphins running back Chase Edmonds here on One, fresh off that 2-year contract that he signed in free agency. Chase, curious for you as you build up this offseason toward the start of the regular season a few months away, what does a successful campaign in year one for you in Miami look like?
I don't like putting stats on anything just because that sets like expectations, and I learned from my old vets that you don't do that. But I think as long as I go out there, man, and I do my job, whatever the coaching staff asks of me, I go out there, I run the ball efficiently, I catch the ball efficiently, I block efficiently, and I most importantly don't fumble the football. I feel like that's going to be a successful campaign for me. So just going out there, man, not making too much commotion, just doing my job. At the end of the day, that's what football is. It's about 11 guys being able to do their individual job and, to make it work together and to make the play a successful play. And you keep doing that rep after rep after rep, and that's how you get a good team.
And when you look at a running back room, just curious from your mindset, do you see it as the other guys? I know Miami brought in some other pieces as a competition, or is it more, you guys are fighting for the same yards for the same team every play, and that's really all that's important for you guys?
Yeah, man. I think I learned a lot about that this year just because the running back room that I was in this year was the closest, tightest running back room I've ever been in since I've been in the NFL. We were all boys. We were always with each other outside of the facility and outside of the job. And I think, that really changes your perspective just of what it means to be an NFL player. And obviously it's a business, right? Obviously, the best is going to play or the best is going to get paid or however you want to look at it. But I look at it as, I want my brother to eat just how I'm eating. And in terms of like, I know how much hard work and sacrifice and sweat and determination it took for men to get to this point and to get to where they're at. So would I ever not root for my other running back guy to score a touchdown? Would I ever not root for my other running back guy to get yards? Absolutely not, because I know exactly how much work it's taken. And it's like you said, man, we all under the same uniform. We all trying to get paid, and we all trying to do a good job for our families so we can continue playing this game that we love. So that's how I look at it.
Chase, I know you're on to Miami, but just curious if you made anything of your former quarterback, Kyler Murray, being the center of attention with that statement a couple of months back about an extension. What kind of leader he is has kind of come into question. What were your impressions having played a few seasons with Kyler Murray?
Oh, that's my dog. Me and K1 always going to ride. So I ain't got nothing negative to say about him at all. At the end of the day, man, people have to do what they got to do to get things done. So I understand that side of it too. But I just, he's an absolute great player, great talent. And, a guy that I would go to war with every single Sunday. Me and him used to have an expression just, I'd always look to him before every game. I said, I'm going to die in that pocket with you, bro. So, whatever you look to your right or your left, I got you and I'm going to ride with you. So that's my guy.
The transition from, the Cardinals to the Dolphins, I'm sure there's been a lot of moving parts. Do you feel that early on they've done a good job of incorporating you, kind of keeping you in the loop in this process as you kind of move across the country and shift conferences?
Yeah, so off-season activities didn't technically start yet. Phase 1 is going to start April 4th, so it hasn't been a whole lot of communication in terms of like playbook and everything like that. But Miami is definitely a first-class organization, just from getting me set up with my transportation out there, and whether it's with my move-in, transport for my car, whatever I need, man, they got everything on deck for me to help me out and make sure that it's a smooth transition.
Chase, we really appreciate you taking so much time with us. I'll get you out of here on this one. Curious, and I remember watching this clip vividly, and I'm not sure if you remember it. You scored 3 touchdowns back in 2019 when you were back in New York against the Giants. You get a game ball from your head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, where he said that you went to an Ivy League school down the road at Fordham. I'm curious, did you ever correct Cliff on the fact that Fordham is not an Ivy League school, or did you just let it roll?
I think somebody ended up telling him, and he came up to me laughing at practice like that Monday or Tuesday, like, bro, you ain't telling me this picture. I said, hey, man, it's damn near the same. It's all good, bro. But, that was a funny moment just because, like, to me, it was like, I was always the Fordham kid, until that moment. I was always the Fordham kid, like I could play and people knew I could play, but it was still not like I didn't get the respect that, the league-wide respect yet.
Chase, really appreciate it. That's Miami Dolphins running back Chase Edmonds, a 2018 Patriot League Fordham graduate, not the Ivy League, fresh off a 2-year free agent deal. Appreciate you taking some time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.